Morning guys, John here, Mr. Forex Fire, for another episode of the 1 minute scalp based upon the Euro USD 1 minute. And again, just bear with me, just got to move some wire. So again, we are not going to try and fix them that's not broken. We're going to continue with these sessions. However, we have moved the time forward to around 8:30, simply because I've got the kids to sort out to get to school. I'm just going to share my screen, see where we are, and let's take a look. We have started the upturn movement, so I'm pleased this has happened in a way, because I ended the session yesterday sort of expecting a shift back up to the upturn or the upside. However, we can see on the 1 minute we've got a zone here. Okay, so let's get ourselves set up. Again, take your notes, have your notepad and pen ready, and again we are starting this from this time and 8:30 AM start. So let's get our parameter box built in, and we are going to 10:30 AM finish. Okay, so from there, that's our zone, that's where we're concentrating on. Let's go at the 15 minutes. Let's just see where price or what price is doing. Right, so at the moment, certainly heading there. So we've got that there. So we've got a rear and a flag. We've got a bit of an upward trend on the 15 minutes. Drill it down to 1 minute from there. Right, so I'm going to keep these lines on here for today for the 15 minutes. Possibly another sort of little side technique we can use on that. Let's get my handsome baldy head a little bit bigger. Overall, we are starting to push in an upward trend, most certainly. Little bit wary of this morning, to be honest, because we've got a lot of liquidity here. We've had liquidity on the bottom here, but it's certainly been broken. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to let the markets play out for 1 or 2 minutes within the half yet. Again, this is about getting structure and feeling comfortable with price and letting it do a little bit of its play out at the moment. Okay, so looking at this, obviously got the down there. So we certainly wanting to break out of the upside if this was going to be sort of looked at on a buy from the lower side. Right, that's a buy. Change that to red. The sell. We'll see. We'll get a breakout of one of these two. Okay, so this is going to give me a bit of time to sort out the bits and pieces that I require. So we're waiting for a push out of the upside or the downside within this, to be honest, okay, before we actually decipher what sort of push or what sort of range we're going to be looking at. Okay, let's see what happens from there. I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back in a second. Again, Tuesdays is generally one of my favorite days to trade, to be honest. However, from the 8 o'clock, even on the 8 o'clock, it looks as if price is going to be in a sideways motion on this. It's been about 8 pips there, because what we've had, okay, what we've had from around about just yesterday late afternoon, we've had a lot of pushing up. Let's just see, we can see what's within the price here as well, because we do set ourselves our own parameter. Look at this, guys. See, on this with the doji, on the return, I would have had that from there, you see. So you've had to push out from here. Again, I mean, you can see there, that would have been your stop there. Your take profit would have been up here. Just go off on a tangent, you know. Just want to be able to show you guys the power on this. Your TP would have been that break up here. Okay, there's a 1 to 2 point whatever, 2.29. Again, you've had a break. You've had an accumulation or distribution as you've had the push up here. Okay, you've come down and had the break. Again, this candle's rather small, so you could, it's all down to your own eye, to be fair. So you could have possibly had that there as a return. Your break is there. It was all the way down to here. Okay, it took its time. There's a 1 to 3.2 odd. Again, from here you've had the break. Have you had the break? You just see had the break. So from there, moving this along, that would be a stop. Okay, up to here was the breaking point. So there's your breaking point. And just move this along. Down to there. There's a 1 to 9 when you look at it, because you've got a structure here. Okay. Let's take a look at this. There's your structure there. Obviously, that there was your breaking point. From here, okay, so the returning point is this here, and your TP would have been up to here. There's a 1 to 7.7, guys. That's absolutely fantastic. But again, we're waiting for structure at the moment. We're just going to reverse this down. So that's just something to look at, you know. Just practice. See where you are in the market. See these different areas. So we've got a break here. We're starting to get a break now. So this is what I want to see. In fairness, I would want to see a break underneath here, because then I can target this upper end. So we'll just wait for a break of price. There we'll go. There's the spike down. Let's just see if it holds, and then we can get rid of all the noise, and then we'll start working in our trades. This is what I wanted to see. A bit of a breakdown from that trend. See that trend will hold and price break underneath. It looks as if it has. So again, let's get rid of this. It's not to say it's going to work, but again, we are setting zones. We work within a pattern. We work within an area, and we give ourselves a predetermined structured bias. Okay, so I would possibly be looking at my first area of possibly that into that. Let's take a look. We've got a lot of imbalance on here, so I don't know whether to cover that imbalance or not. We'll cover, I mean, we could risk it and go for it at 2.24. But again, as you can see in here, we speak heavily of imbalance. Imbalance, we've got a down. We've got the wick to wick. There's a bit of imbalance between there. And so what we'll do is we'll risk this, but we're going to cover. We're going to cover this area here from this wick. So we're just going to do that. Okay. Bring this down. We're waiting for a return candle, in fairness. Okay, a bit of a return candle. More than what this candle here is. We need a bit more of a drive up. And then we'll see where we are from there, guys. Again, this is an imbalanced area. We've got 20 seconds left. The more this drives down, the more we're going to be pulling this down, and then we'll take it from there. And again, from there, we might actually push this into the imbalance area for now, because there's quite a bit of coverage. So I am going to do that, to be honest. Method in the madness. Right, so we've got a one. Right, yeah, I'm going to do that. From there, pull out the fib. I want that there, and there's a reason why I've done that. That is going to be the move to break even, and that's going to be the approach for this trade this morning. Let's see what happens. I'm going to pause the video. If this comes off, then we've got a 1 to 1.96. So I'm going to pause the video, guys, get set up with a few other things I've got to do. But hopefully that little approach, that sort of look at what I've done there this morning, gives you a bit more of an insight, because it's not always about having the zone, top and bottom, but you can also do, if there's looks as if there's a channel, you can use the channel lines as a possible break and sort of retest area. So let's just pause the video, and we will be back in a few moments. We're back once again. Let's just take a look and see where this trade's taking us. Share the screen. Again, guys, we were in 2.72. Let's just take a look at this before we start moving around with this stuff in a moment. So yesterday, just as an update, we ended the day, we had 2 wins, 1 loss. We ended the day in 2.72 growth. Excuse me. I'm tired, like see, I'm up most of the night with pains, but there you go. From there, it's around about 15. So we are on 0.79 plus a 2.72. For the last 6 days, it's 15.51% growth. Okay, so I'm now looking at the break on this. Just need to get rid of that. Let's move this. I'm just going to be looking at that area there with that structure down to here. Okay, we're looking at that sort of maneuver. 2.3. Let's get the fibs. We'll have, again, contain and protect the capital. Get rid of the fibs. And this is our goal. This is going to be our move to break even area. So now we're contemplating a push up and entry. Move to break even, risk free trade, push down. We'll get a 2.3. risk to reward. And see, this will flag back up into this order block area, which is what we're anticipating. Okay, we'll see, we'll get that. Again, what I generally do is I'll have an entry just outside of the box and just above the box. Normally you'll get a retracement into 50% of the candle, because each candle holds its own significance within liquidity imbalance, the orders that reside in there, and generally 50% of any candle is the go-to place for anything to be sort of rebalanced or structured, or then to see sort of support or resistance as well. Okay, again, if you've seen any sort of value with what I do with these sort of sessions, you just need to click the subscribe button on YouTube, hit the notification bell to get to see more of these. If you want to go one step further and become part of the Forex Fire area, on my home channel, on my home page of YouTube, you will see join. You can hit join, you'll get access to all of this, the Discord community, where we go in depth with everything from funding challenges to strength indicator, strength meters, the scalping. I do homework sessions for everybody. We do video training modules. There's a plethora of information in there, and it's not just from myself, it's from other members, because after all, I had a mission a few years ago to sort of put something together where I could have a hub of people, because what's one person's knowledge can actually help someone progress in their journey as well. So as we can see on here, we are, and if you look at this push on here, to be fair, let's delve a little deeper. Okay, so as you can see, we spoke about 50% and things out. There's the last down before the up on there. Okay, we've come to just above the 50%. This whole structure and price within itself, will we get a push out of here to structurally go into this one? We'll wait and find out. But at the moment, we've got, let's take a look. You can see there's the A, B, C, okay. There's an ABC pattern, as you can see on there. And we've got the high, the lower low, the lower high, the lower low, and it's structurally coming back into this area to sort of mitigate into the fire zones of those areas. And you see what I mean? Like I say, I don't make this stuff up, guys. You come attuned and accustomed to these sort of things. You see this is not just once, not twice, 3 times this is holding structure within that fire block. And I hope you do take sort of some sort of light bulb moment and some sort of acknowledgement that the power on this. Now we're starting to get the entry. We've got the entry up. Let's just get out of that, because now that has become invalidated. We've got the wick entry. This is now holding structure on here. We can get rid of that. And let's just drill down into this. You can see on here, I've got it just obviously just above the, on this we're into drawdown now. I mean, this might not hold, but we'll see. And there's your A, retracement into B, and then you see a bit further down on the bottom side. Oh, we need to get that back, didn't mean to move that. There we are. Right, let's just see, we'll get this pushed down. I'm going to leave this open for a little while. We'll see the movement and price. And again, if you haven't watched any of my other YouTube videos, there's not just a minute scalper. I've got an actual free course. I've actually got a free course within the smart money realm of what I've been trading over the years. Again, that's inside of this as well. But if you go on the playlist, there'll be a playlist somewhere on my home channel where you'll be able to see the smart money, and that'll be all condensed down into sort of workable modules so that you can get access to all the goodness and that as well. This looks as if it's going to come and push us out and give us a minus. We'll wait and see. Let's just scroll this in. Yeah, it's pushing. It's pushing. Yeah, it's going to push out. It's too strong. It's too strong. I think that's actually wicked us out. That has wicked us out, guys. Wickety, 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 wickety. That should push out as well, to be fair. That'll be annoying if that's a wick out touch on the stop loss and then it reverts back down. Yeah, rejection. Right, so that's a minus. Not to worry, we're still about 14% summit in front. All we do for when these sort of hit us, minimize that in, recognize that that's a hit. Would you believe it? Look at it, starting to reject from there. I think I should have had this a little bit higher than that point there, to be fair. Not to worry. We'll see what happens now. I'm going to pause the video before we come back to another structure point, guys, and then we'll take it from the next area from there. Lesson learned on that one, but we just dust ourselves off, pick ourselves up, and we move on. Let's just stop the share, and we will be back in a moment or two. Hi, guys. Just going to quickly share my screen because we're getting in on a trade. Excuse me, bad chest. So again, I'm heading towards this order block here. Okay, I'm looking towards this one here, simply because if we go on the 15-minute as well, we can see we are pushing back up towards price on here. Okay, within this order block here, I'm risking this a bit again as well, to be fair. So on this here, we've got an order block on the top side. I've got the stop loss to just above the entry of the push on this. We drill it back down to 1 minute. Excuse me. It also factors in this order block here and partial of this. Again, we've got a nest within a nest for imbalance on the top side, and that resides nicely into 50% of this particular candle as well. Again, on the fibs, we go down, move this out. This is our break or move to break even. Again, we'll see what gets stopped out. I've got a feeling today we might actually hit a bit of a fluff here, to be fair, but we'll see. Not to worry. Like I say, I like to do this in front of your eyes. We'll see what happens with this. We'll see if this comes down to move to break even. Hopefully it might do, because again, in that parameter, what you've got in that move to break even, again, button, you got within that there, it's within the ABC. Okay, you've got to press this button twice for some reason on TradingView. The A, B, C pattern there. 50% of the correction is more or less the move to break even on here. So hopefully we might get the push back down in here. Again, price is wanting to push up. It just seems to be. It seems, I did call this the other day, mind. I did say once we get the uptrend, we might start getting one or two tinker. We might get one or two sort of what's the word? Stop outs, to be honest, until the trend settles itself, because we are going back up into the uptrend, most certainly from the 15-minute when you look at it. Okay, because as you've come down, I mean, look at the price here, guys. look at this price come right down here, okay? And if we get from that high down to this low, the fire zones at the moment, I mean, this is going to be respected for sure at some stage. That there is going to be respected at some stage. So what I want to do, I'm going to make that grey, and I'm going to make that other one grey, because that's a swing point high to the low. Look at this. We come up, we touched. Might get another rejection to get the bounce back down to here before we get a push back up onto the top side. This is like I say, looking at the 15-minute bias. I'm just going to get rid of some of these. Again, you've got your high, your low, your lower high, your low low, your lower high, your lower low, your lower high, your lower low, your lower high. But then we had a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high. From there, we've got a higher low. This is going to be a determining factor, this area here. This should technically, if this is going to be an uptrend, this is going to have to break and produce a higher high up here to then come back down to do a lower low within that sort of structured area, if that makes sense. So we could be anticipating, let's take a look. It could be because you've got a low, a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We should get a higher high, possibly breaking up to here, and then coming back down into this area before shooting off onto that. So that's the general bias of what I'm looking at the minute. We'll go back down to the 15-minute. We'll keep that on. Get this drilled in. Again, I'm hoping the bias and the thought process is going to prove me wrong. I hope it is, because I would like to see this come out and give us a nice 2.93. Again, the move to break even will be a nice area for it to touch. We've got a -1 already, but I'm not worrying too much about that just yet, because we're looking at this as a bigger picture and an overall result, to be fair. Let's see where we come at the end of the month. I'm just going to stop the video at the moment, guys. Hopefully these little sort of extra look at the charts and not just what the candle formations are doing. Hopefully these little bit of, even though we're on the 1 minute, when we come out and we'll look at it a bird's eye view, looking down from a 15-minute aspect, we can sort of see structure points and we can predetermine where we think price is going to go. Again, what we're looking at here on the higher side is two areas where structurally, where you get your A, B, C, you've got you're moving with that trend. So as that trend reversals come down from the lower lows to a higher low, a lower high, sorry. So as you come down to a lower low and then a lower high, structurally like this, coming down, the breaking trend on here, like I say, we go back to 15 minutes, the breaking trend is, as you've got the high, the lower low, the lower high, the lower low, the lower high, the lower low, we come down to the bottom out, and then we structurally then become a higher low, or yes, a higher low, then a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, expecting a higher low up here at some stage, and then a lower, a high high, then a lower, a higher low, I should say. Okay. Again, hopefully we might get this coming down to the break-even structure. I think we are going to get some form of consolidation soon. So you've got your A, B, C there again. And then what we've got we've got a flag starting to form on here. I don't want to go too much into that just yet. I'm going to pause the video, guys, to see where we are, and I'll see you in a bit. I'll just stop the share. We'll see you in a bit. I'm going to go and make a cup of tea. Update, guys. At the moment, we have certainly hit a 20-minute consolidation phase. Again, I'm just wanting to keep you guys updated on this. We are waiting for the move to break even, at least, so it sort of protects what we've done already this morning. We are on a -1, in all honesty. However, we are up, going on the actual thing. We've hit a -1 this morning, so we are overall for the 7 days of trading, we're on a 14.51%. So again, I'm not too worried. I did call yesterday that if we were to go into uptrend, we may start to see one, maybe two, 1 or 2 losses. Again, it's not worrying me, because I'm trying to do this and show you this over the course of a month period, if that makes sense, and sort of documenting it. Got nothing to hide against, to be fair. And I just hope me doing this and showing you my thought process behind what I do on a day-to-day basis, and being able to contain what we do within that 2-hour parameter, but also within the 2-hour parameter, within the structure on a daily bias and the way of a trend movement, okay, and taking little bits of snippets of advice and sort of stuff that I put out here without the use of indicators, just using pure price action on the movement and structure and order blocks, that you can see that you can actually get some trades out of this. So yeah, at the moment we are in a consolidated phase. Again, when it comes to the 1 minute chart, just for a little bit of further fire value, a little bit of advice, a lot of people see the minute chart and they think it moves too fast, it moves too much. You've just got to remember, we are containing the beast, okay? The price does move, but it doesn't move any different to what it's doing on the 1 hour, the daily, the monthly. The price, when it moves on all time frames. It's just the candles and the fractal nature of the actual price that is different. So the price movement's exactly the same. When you are going down in these time frames, it's just making it more fractal. So it's refining, okay? That's the best word to use on this. It's refining a process of entry. Price is the same. Doesn't matter where you look at it. And as we're talking here, this is now moving down to the break-even area. Look at this. Look. Look, you couldn't make it up. Come on. Well, go back. Get this back. There we are. Right. So there we are. We're a risk-free trade now. Okay. Let's drill this deeper. We're a risk-free trade now. So if I wanted to, because we are technically still live in this trade, let's just look at it. It's a 1 to 2.93. I could move it here, even though it's a risk-free trade. I could cancel out, which I think I will do. Okay. I can do this because I'm doing it live. I'm going to move this to this area here of this liquidity, of this order block. Okay. So if it comes to here, it's going to cancel out the -1. Okay. And then it's going to give us a more or less a 1% growth. So I'm doing this in front of your eyes. I'm reanalyzing the situation. Yes, we've got to move to break even. We could risk that to go down to the 2 point odd. But again, I'm going to bring in my TP a little bit closer to the obviously the order. You see this order block here? To this order block of that consolidation or the pullback period. Okay, so I'm going to do that there. Hopefully we'll get the push down. If we do, not only have we cancelled off our 1%, but we would have also gained a 1% growth. But again, it's like I say, I've got nothing to hide. I'm just doing what I do on a day-to-day basis, analyzing and then reanalyzing any situation that we may come across. And if we look at this, really bad chest at the moment. You see on this, even on this, guys, when I brought this into the consolidated area on this, and I don't make this stuff up, this, like I say, it's done live in front of you. Look at how this area is a fire zone and it's being respected, but also look at the one just above it. It looks as if we've got the little miniature impulse move from this area here, pushing down into these zones here. We just want that final push to come to this TP. The TP was set at 2 point odd, nearly 3%. However, I'm going to be happy with closing this out at just under a 2% growth. We are on a risk-free trade, remember. If this was to push out and move above this area here, we would then just have a risk-free trade and we will still stand at -1 for the day. However, if we get the push down, we have not only saved the trade, we've cancelled off the loss that we've had today. Okay, guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause the video. I'm going to go and finish this cup of tea that I was going to be making. I normally have my break or my mid-morning cup of tea during halfway through the session. We are halfway through that session now because it's now just after 9:30. And I hope you are taking little snippets of value out of what I do on this. I really do. Please remember, comment, let us see some engagement in the comments. Let me know what you're getting out of this. Or are you seeing these little sort of tips, tricks and things like that? Let me know if you are subscribing. If you're not, do hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You'll see when these always go live. From there, it would mean so much to me if you can also hit that join button. It just becoming a fully fledged fire member does actually help me do more within the channel. It helps me towards doing what I need to do to progress in what I do on my trading, and also helps with me being able to go that one step further and do everything else with regards to upgrading kits and things like that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back in a moment. We're getting a bit of a reverse up there, guys. Just bear with me. Hi guys, just finished my way. Got a cup of tea there. Let's take a look at this trade. Today is going to be one of them days, I think. So we're back into drawdown. However, we are on a move to break even. We're in the drawdown at the moment. If this sort of stops us out, it's not a minus, simply because it was a move to break even. In fact, it has cancelled us out now, hasn't it? Because this would be here. So this is a BE. I do apologize about that. BE, move to break even. That's a break even trade. Let's get rid of some of the noise. These things happen. These things test us. We get rid of that. So we're moving back into the uptrend into this block, to be fair. From there, guys, let's get this into here. This into here. Let's get rid of this. Let's get this trade here. Here. 1.64. 7. Right, so we'll take this as a trade. We'll look for the long now. Again, -1 for the day. let's see we'll get a bit of profit before the end. It's been a good run so far, if I'm honest with you. 7 days, 6 days, 6 days of profit. We're into the 7th day now. Again, overall 14% in profit. So there's nothing too much of a worry. We have, like I say, we contain everything down to the 2-hour section. This is where the mindset comes in. We can talk a little bit about mindset as well. So even though we are 1% down, let's say, worst case scenario, let's say this comes and stops us out as well. It enters and stops us out, and you end up 2%. You need, mentally, you need to take yourself away from having that losing day and look back on what the results has given you over the course of the last 6 days. But what most people will see, let's say we end up on the, let's go even a step further, okay? Let's say within the 8:30 to the 10:30, we hit another 2 trades that lose, and we lose 3%, okay? And it gets to the end of your trading day, and 10:30 is the cutoff period, okay? And you've got to stop. So you do stop, and you look at today's trading, and you think, today was an absolute basic shower of, you know, an absolute horror show. 3% lost, and you're going to be down in the dumps. You're going to be kicking yourself. You're going to be like, what did I do where I could have done better? This is where possibly, if you are doing these sort of things, you can record yourself and look back and reanalyze on stuff, what you've done. Talk yourself through like what I'm doing now, because I look back on what I do with these, to be fair. So once I sort of record these and then upload them to YouTube, what I'll do is, if anything's gone wrong, I'll go back on the video itself to see what I look at on the analysis, to see if there's anything I could have done differently. But then it gets towards the end of the session, and let's say it hasn't happened here at the moment, but let's say we lose another 2 trades, 3% down. What I do, I reanalyze what I've done for that day. But then what I do, just so it gets the frame of mind into what I have done, I will always go back and I will look at my structured approach, and I will look at the growth that I've got over the course of the time of documenting all this. So yes, if let's say if something was at -3%, would be a kicker, but overall, profit wise, we look at this structurally, and as long as we've got exponential growth over that time, there's nothing to worry about. Okay, just a little bit of a mindset thing with that. Again, on this here, we are waiting for the sort of the push down sort of thing to get the entry into here. We'll see, we'll get that. I'm going to pause the video because I'm going to have my cup of tea. We'll see if we'll get an entry on this. Again, let's just have a look. Let's just see if we can push that a little bit more. 119. So we've got a 1 to 196. Again, structure wise, let's factor in our move to break even. That'll be the move to break even area. We'll take it from there, guys. I'll be back in a second as we are heading into the last 40 minutes or so of this training session, and I'll speak to you all soon. Hi guys, not much action in fairness today. Let's take a look and see where we are with the screen. Just to recap, -1, move to break even. Excuse me. And we were waiting for the anticipation of the move down. We're starting to get within this maneuver here. We have started an uptrend, okay? So again, I can't really sort of move any sort of trade at the moment until possibly something above there has been broken. So I wouldn't technically get into another trade until this zonal area here is either broken on the downside or broken on the upside. to be more efficient within this trade, because we've got to within this area. Okay, a lot of analysis on this one today. Within this area itself, we've come in on the downtrend, so we've had the push to go back on the up. Okay, we technically have 20 minutes left, so if we get the push out of here in a close of price, I would possibly move this area, and it would make more sense to move this from this order block here. Okay, from this order block here, it would make more sense to move that up into that order block. Okay, you see how the break-even area from this entity is more or less half spot on onto this order block. So we've had to push back down from this break of structure. Okay, so this is the higher high, the higher high, the higher high, the higher high. We've had a retracement back into more or less 50% of this impulse move. So if I was to do that to that, you see how the fire zone there is respected. Again, look at where my break even is. We've got 3 or 4 confluence areas here. So we've got the break even, okay, which is the move to break even, which was that swing point there. Okay, you can see the move to break evens there. However, if you move to that high point there and move it down to this, because this get the wand out, this push in itself is an impulse move, breaking structure of this previous high. So you've got a high high, high high, high high. The maneuver back into this impulse move not only is the firebox of this structured price action zone is also a move to break even. So we could be looking for still, because it's within the zone, we are looking for the move to touch in, to come out, to then possibly break this structure, if that makes sense. I don't want to enter any other trade until something along the lines of that area there is broken and pushed, where you may get an A, B, C, if that makes sense, structure-wise. But until this area here is broken, I am not looking to sort of get in on a trade. I'm just going to get rid of some of the noise just to condense this back down. We'll get rid of the purple bias move, which we knew was going to be coming and happening. Again, we'll get rid of that there. And I hope you're taking a little bit of, again, value from these sort of more in-depth analysis of what I'm doing. Again, we have from there, we do have the channel. Okay, we do have the channel still moving up within the slight uptrend. From there, guys, we've got from here up to where we are here. We've got around about an hour and 24 of movement within that slight uptrend, that impulse move. Okay, and again, just to go a bit more in depth, in the space of that time, that push there has created around about 20 pips. Let's go back. We'll just get rid of some of the noise. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. And we're getting the break there now. So in fairness, what I think I may do, guys, we're going to cancel that trade out. We've had that break there. We've certainly had that break there. We are now into the area that I was expecting the movement to on the bias. So again, the trade itself, the trading today itself has not been overly fantastic. However, we are only on a -1. You see how having a controlled approach to these 1 minute aspects when you look at the 1 minute and scalping, a lot of people just go support and resistance. Okay, yeah, there's an element of support and resistance in this, but you are factoring in a lot more within the trading and the trading style itself with regards to these fire zones, support and resistance area, a smart money aspect. You've got a lot of different rules and regulations, whereas a lot of people will just be going, right, yeah, it breaks up, we'll take it, with no initial analysis based upon where a stop loss would be and a take profit would be, if that makes sense. So again, we might try one final push. We've had the break there. Let's take a look. We go for a long, we'll go for there. Stop loss here. Okay, that's our area there. Let's say if we get an entry on this, last push of the day, and again, you'll see, if you look back on these videos, we do tend to get two or three trades a day. 2 or 3 trades a day based upon this very structured approach. Okay, so we're just going to cancel that off. There's our move to break even. There's our new trade. We are now officially, okay, I'm just going to show you, just to give you a little bit of extra here. We have got black and we've got a new zone of play. You see what I mean? So as we've got the new A, B, C, okay, we start to get the retracement down. This area here has now become the area of interest. Okay, this area on the pullback is our interest of area. Again, the fib zones in there. See how it's within that consolidate, within that retraced zone. See how it's now respecting this area here. Okay, so what we could get if we to get these path things out, you could get a rejection up, in, possibly up again, then coming down into this area or possibly into this area to then hopefully give us the bigger move up. Let's see what this gives. We'll see what this gives and see if it plays out within our sort of fire zone areas. Again, what I'm going to do, guys, it is the final 10 minutes or so. What we'll do is we'll drill. We'll try and drill into this and be a bit more analytical. Let's just see what happens within these zones. And I mean, this is an anticipation. Again, it's a bias. Again, I am not perfect. I'm not 100% all the time, but on the conditions, the parameters, and the workable areas, these are the sort of things I would sort of be looking at. If we get a rejection of the zone it's at right now, we might get another push back up to the 85.9 area for then to consolidate a bit to come back down to that inner magnet or that inner zone. And then from there, we might get the further push down into entry of our order blocked area, okay, because from the wick. And again, guys, the wick, it is from the wick to wick, okay. We've got the entry just above the wicked area. It looks as if it's coming and it's breaking into the inner fire zones. There's a nice end towards the end of the trading thing. Let's delve right in. Let's delve right in and just see how this reacts. Again, the last few minutes. See how it's wicking back into the zone. And as always, guys, I said this earlier on, please leave your comments below. Let me know if this sort of stuff has given you any sort of value, any sort of confidence in going to test these sort of things, to sort of check for these and these zones. Because what I would like you to do is look for these ABC corrections within your ABC correction, draw your consolidated or retracement box along, draw out your fibs, and watch how the flag, because that's what it is. This here is a flag pattern back into the structured area of retracement, because you've had a breakout here. Okay, so once we come in here, this is what we call a flag. This is going to flag back into areas of importance of contracts within the retraced zone. And you see what I mean? We've come in, we've broken the fire zone structure here. We've come down to test the lower fire zone. We are now bouncing back up into the mid higher of the fire zone. Hopefully we'll get the push down into the entry to then give us the impulse out of the initial retraced zone. I hope this is making sense to you. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what it gives. Again, what's happened here is it has technically come down. Okay, it's then come back up. It looks like we might actually get this sort of motion. Looks like we might sort of get that, hopefully then to anticipate that, then push up. Again, we've got to move to break even area here. Let's just make that little bit thicker just so we can see that. That's going down towards our entry. And again, this might even stop us out. But again, we are working, we are the bias, and we are still working within the structured area of the retraced, okay? Because overall, that push down of the A, B, C leg, this is where structure is being held, okay? It's a zonal area. Let's see if we'll get a wick. There's the entry. Okay, now let's see if we'll get our push up. Hopefully we'll get the push up. And we'll still, I'm going to stay on this live and try and comment throughout it. And I hope you're going to be taking value from this, guys. Come on. Let's see that little push. We are currently at 22 minutes past 10. Let's see if this behaves a little bit for us at the moment. Let's see what happens. It might just rush out that liquidity on the bottom, to be fair. Let's just have a look at the structure as a whole. We've got that ABC pattern, okay? The big move up, the impulse down, and then the C. The C has been, this has been, and for some reason, we've got a double press on these bloody things at the minute. That has been a BOS, okay? So the BOS, and then what we've had here, this is now flag. So now we're flagging back down into the area. So as you can see, we are flagging back down into the area. Let me get this purple. Get that. Purple, there's our flag. Okay, and we're flagging back in. We're moving back up to the BE area. Like I say, I don't want to try and make these things too difficult, but I just want to show you from my mind's aspect, my sort of analysis, what I'm looking at, a bit more of a deeper dive into the trading. Let's just see if it holds the structure. So again, you've got the pullback. So that is the zone. The orange is the zone. The C, the buyers went back into control. Okay, you had a break of structure here. Just to highlight that, you had a break of structure there. Okay, and then we ended up having a flag pattern to come in to respect, because that's what this is doing. This is respecting price. This is the point of having the fire zones, respecting the price all the way down into the entry, and the entry is against touching that entry of that fire block. And you can see the fire zones between the inner magnets or the inner zones being respected. Again, it looks like it's going to push us out. We didn't quite get to the break even. Let's delve a little bit deeper. Be a shame if this stops out, because the fluid movement on this price action at the moment, it's acting pretty well, to be honest, with regards to the zones. They'll go push. There's the break even. Bang on. That's lovely. That's nice to see. Risk-free trade, guys. Come on. We get this. This could technically put us up into the profit. This could bring it into a profitable day. We'll see if we'll get the push. Let's just reanalyze where we are as well. So at the moment, on the bias, we've got a -1. Let's just see if we can save the day a bit. -1. This is for a 2.3. Let's see, we bring this down to -1. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm actually going to close that out on a 1.3. Okay, I'm going to close this trade out on a 1.3, just so we can save a day. So that's the trade actually closed out. Let's take a look. 1.3 trade percent. Okay, I'm going to close that out. We'll come to the end of the session. I hope you have found some value in today's session. What we're going to do, I want to try and keep these trades in, and this is a 1.3 trade because it's closed on that wick. Let's take a look. You can see there, okay, as I see this, it's actually closed on there as well. So I can't go back on my word. It's stopped out there. I closed the trade out there on the 1.3. Hope you're getting value from this. Let's just total up today's trading. Let's start from the beginning. So we had a -1, we had a break even, and then we had a plus 1.3. Okay, so there's a 0.3% of a growth there today. So let's take a look. 21st. So we had a -1%. We had a BE. And then we had a 1.3% growth. Close that out. So overall, we had a 0.03%. We'll save that. Excuse me. And if you'd see that, if I let the trade go, guys, if I let the trade go, and I'm going to be open and honest, as I see it, don't hide behind anything. It was all about saving the trade. Look where it's respected. I'm going to stay on the live, to be fair. Go up to here. That would have been a 1 to nearly 2. But again, all's not lost. We got a 1.3. Let's just go back. So that's respected the zone on the top end. So that's the end of the video today, guys. Again, I just wanted to protect the capital. I wanted to protect what we've attained over the last several days. Again, I hope you found today's session really good. It hasn't been until towards the back end of that 1/10 where we've seen the action. But again, hopefully delving deeper into what I've been showing you guys, you can see just from my trend eye what I look for. Even if the trade is down, I look for areas of importance and areas that I can protect and sort of sever the area there where we've made a loss, recuperated it, and come back from that -1, brought it back to a plus 0.3. So that's all good. And I hope to see you commenting below, engaging, liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell to get anything seen first that I post on there. Please also look in the community area of my YouTube channel. Please comment on anything I've got posted on there at the moment. And if you can, and this really from the bottom of my heart, I wouldn't be doing these content and all this content if it wasn't for the audience that I have. Just to show a little bit of appreciation back, if you're getting value out of anything that I do, please go to the YouTube channel itself and hit this little button here. Okay, hit this button here to get signed up and become a fully fledged member to show your love and support for the Forex Fire. Got many people watching what I do here. Hopefully we can get a bit of a membership built up with this as well. So thank you very much, guys. My name's been John. Until tomorrow, happy trading.